If you've been craving the next chapter in the Avatar universe, we finally have some brand new details. Avatar 7 Havens is the next big animated series from the world of the Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, and just recently we were given our first official look at 7 Havens. This new series follows a young earthbender named Pavi, her long-lost twin sister Nisha. Well, Pavi discovers that she is the new Avatar after Korra, but the twist is, the world she inherits is completely shattered. A cataclysm has torn both the physical and spirit realms apart, and the next Avatar isn't seen as a hero anymore. In fact, some people think the Avatar is to blame. So for those of you that don't know, Avatar 7 Havens will be a 2D animated series that is split into 2 seasons. With book 1 and book 2, both books will be 13 episodes each, making it a full 26 episode story. And while it still lives in the same universe we know and love, this is shaping up to be a very different kind of Avatar story. One where the Avatar will have to earn the trust of the world that once admired them. So let's talk about what we've actually seen. Recently at San Diego Comic-Con during the 20th anniversary panel for The Last Airbender, we got our first piece of official artwork for 7 Havens, and boy oh boy did it immediately set the tone. The image shows our new Avatar Pavi walking through a rocky desert landscape, crystals spouting from the ground in front of her, with a desert city in the distance and spirit lights illuminating the sky. Now right next to Pavi is her animal companion named Jeet. Jeet kind of looks like a mix between like a bigger house cat, almost like a domesticated cat, mixed with something like almost the size of a lion. But behind them both is an airbender named Jay. And we're not quite sure if Jay is a close friend or a mentor to Pavi, but they look to be on the same journey together, likely looking for her long lost sister. And the background of the city is named Aurora apparently, which that seems like it's one of the 7 havens in which they talk about, which are basically like the last remaining strongholds of civilization after the mysterious disaster. One thing that we do have to point out is the spirit lights that hang above in the sky. These are typically only found in the northern and southern poles of this universe. So to see them in a desert setting begs the question that needs to be answered. We know that there was a giant cataclysm that happened and it basically left the world shattered, with only 7 havens that are like inhabitable that actually have civilization. So it tells me that like everything outside of those 7 havens is overrun by spirits. So now let's dive into the characters that we've been introduced to. Pavi is our new Avatar. She is one of 2 twin avatars. And unlike Aang or Korra, she's stepping into the world where the Avatar isn't trusted. The cataclysm that tore the world apart seems to have some kind of reflection on Korra's legacy as the Avatar. So whatever Korra did in the past definitely kind of made things a little bad. I mean, heck, there's only 7 havens that are still habitable. So yeah, she did a number on the entire world. But with that being said, it does put Pavi's identity as the Avatar in a really tough position. She's being hunted by both human factions and angry spirits who view her as a threat instead of a savior. From the picture, Pavi has a wooden peg leg, so there's going to be some backstory that we get there, whether or not this was from like an earthbending accident while growing up, or if it was like a defect that came from birth. Either way, they're going to tell a story with this, and I'm really curious to see what actually happened. My guess is since she is hunted, I would assume that like her mentor is like, you know, her protector almost, and they both experienced like her losing her leg in the past. Now joining her is Jeet, like I said, who is her animal companion. Now, so far, we don't know the name of the species, but it does look like a big house cat. Honestly, this show wouldn't be an Avatar without a weird, lovable creature. Now, whether or not Jeet can live up to Appa and Momo, I doubt that's going to happen, but Jeet could be pretty awesome. I can't wait to see what this character is going to be like. And then there is Jay, who is allegedly an airbender who's either Pavi's mentor or maybe just like a close friend who joins in on her quest. Now, the showrunners didn't really confirm or like reveal any of them. I'm curious to see what their dynamic is going to be like, but they both clearly have a history. Perhaps Pavi has some struggles with airbending, and that's why Jay is like going along with her to like help her airbend. I mean, she does have a peg leg, so that might be one of the flaws that she has, even though like with Avatar The Last Airbender, there was Tio that had the gliders, so I'm sure that, you know, she's able to do some things. Especially if you have like this dude who is a paraplegic, and he took to the skies like a literal airbender as well, so I'm sure Pavi shouldn't have much of an issue. So yeah, we're not really sure who Jay is or like if he's a close friend or mentor, but they look like they're going to be on a journey together. Maybe he'll be acting like, you know, comic relief. I'm also really curious to see who they're going to pick to, you know, voice act Jay. If it's my choice, I want either Dante Bosco or Jack DeSena to voice Jay, but you know, it's hard to say who they plan to do. It might be just an entirely new cast. But I do still think they should have like all the OGs in the show. Here's an idea. What if they have like Zach Tyler Eisen, who played Aang in the original series? Now that he's a bit older, he might be able to do a good Jay. Who knows? One thing is for certain, Jay and Pavi should have a pretty good synergy. Having two airbenders of different elements or the same elements, since, you know, Pavi is the avatar, it should make for some awesome fight sequences. So here's to hoping both of them can showcase some incredible teamwork. And then the last major character we've heard about but haven't seen yet, which, I mean, we kind of seen her from all of the leaks in the past, but that's Nisha. Nisha is Pavi's long-lost sister, who happens to be her twin as well, and finding her is a big part of the overall narrative. The story revolves around Pavi uncovering the truth about her origins while trying to hold a collapsing world together. We've heard this for a long time, but the reports and everything is that she's also an avatar, but she's almost like an evil twin. So perhaps book 1 will be all about Pavi, and then book 2 will be about Nisha's, you know, growth, as well as details about how there is like 2 avatars. Okay, next up, let's talk about art style for a second, because this screenshot looks absolutely gorgeous. It is a departure from both The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, but you could tell that the team is aiming for something that does feel fresh, but is still familiar. The desert landscape and the artwork is jagged and lonely, but the city in the background, Aurora, has this really sleek and almost spiritual vibe to it. It feels ancient, but also futuristic at the same time. Now, there are also glowing spirit lights in the sky, reminiscent of the Aurora Borealis, but on top of that, the architecture looks almost like alien, like so foreign that it looks alien. The artwork gives us so much mystery that it's like I've got so many questions in my head. But visually, Pavi and Jay's design strikes a really nice balance. It looks like these two characters are almost a part of like the same haven, because if you look at the outfits, they look very similar. I also think the outfits look pretty vibrant. They're not like overly flashy either. The thing that I get from this entire image is like it shows that she's in the spotlight, but not so much as a symbol of hope. She's like walking through a world that's unsure if it even wants an avatar anymore. So like her having to tackle that, as well as the fact that she also has a twin sister that might not be like the most, you know, friendly. It's going to be pretty interesting, especially if there's like spirit implications with these two characters, with Pavi being derived from Vaatu, obviously Vaatu being the evil one, and you got, you know, Nisha, who's the evil one as well. Yeah, needless to say, I can't wait to learn more. Now, during the Avatar Comic-Con panel, the creators Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino shared some interesting insight into the direction of Seven Havens. According to Brian Konietzko, he said this: "It's something totally different. We like to change up the style. We like to make each project its own thing. And as you can see, it still feels like Avatar, but the world is very different. You'll have to tune in and find out why." They also confirmed that the series will deal with a lot of heavy themes: the collapse of the civilization, the role of the Avatar in a broken world, and the lines between good and evil. Seven Havens leans deeper into the fallout of everything that happened in Korra's time, and pushing the franchise into darker and more uncertain territories. So now the thing that I want to know is, will we see anything new when it comes to bending? I think that's the big question that we all want to know. But with the world and spirit realms both in total, when Pavi, like, you know, tries to tap into her past life, obviously like Korra separated the connection to the past avatars, but she almost like created a new one. So maybe Pavi can only tap into like Korra's avatar, not having direct access to the previous avatars in the lineage like her other predecessors had. There's so many doors that this opens. Like perhaps there's going to be new techniques, new philosophies. It's obviously still early, but could we see the biggest bending shift since Toph invented metal bending? All right, so now for the not so fun part, the part that I'm the most concerned about, and that is the future of Avatar Studios. As of now, Paramount, the parent company behind Nickelodeon and Avatar Studios, is in the middle of merging with Skydance Media, which that might sound like some boring business stuff, but trust me, it does matter now. But anything beyond that is a bit of a question mark at this point. Even The Legend of Aang could face corporate issues depending on how the merger plays out. So while this looks good for now, things could change pretty rapidly. I hope it doesn't, but there is a possibility that things do change. So when is Avatar 7 Havens coming out? No official release date obviously was announced, but here's what we know so far. The project is still in production. We've only seen one official piece of artwork. The Legend of Aang movie is coming out in October 2026, which that makes the 2027 release window the most likely scenario. Avatar Studios wants the movie to take the spotlight in 2026, and then use that momentum to roll out Seven Havens the following year. It also gives them time to like fully polish out both books and make a strong debut for their first TV series under the new studio. So yeah, I would pencil in sometime in 2027, most likely the first half of the year if things go smoothly. Avatar 7 Havens is shaping up to be the boldest take on the franchise yet. It's dark, mysterious, and full of potential. And we've got new characters, a broken world, and a fresh avatar, or I guess fresh avatars, whose journey won't be about earning the love of the world, it'll be about surviving it. There's a lot to be excited about, but also a few reasons to be cautiously optimistic. The Paramount merger could shake things up, but I am curious to hear where you guys' thoughts are. Are you hyped for 7 Havens? Do you like the new art direction? And are you worried about the corporate side messing things up? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys on the other side of the world.